you, everyone.
Hey, thank you, everyone, for your patience. So, again, I want to start with the agenda, which is that I want to go over the context, so what brought me in this, and what I hope that you will get out of the talk. Then I want to present some of the core elements of sociocracy, which are decision-making, role assignment, and agile hierarchies, and then sum up. As I said earlier, and I'm not sure if you could hear that, I try to answer the questions as they come in, but I might miss also the one or the other, and so there will be time at the end for me to answer your questions. So only for you to know that I will get over those questions, definitely. So in terms of the context, so my interest in sociocracy, so first of all, I'm in the agile field for really quite a long time. So it's about 18 years. And so which means before the term agile has been really created, and I've worked with extreme programming and Scrum, and then the agile term was created, and I mainly worked with large and also distributed organizations in different roles. However, what I saw in many different situations that organizations and sometimes also teams were not able to fully benefit from Agile. And so this always made me think, what can be done to support them to really fully benefit from agility? And then 2 years ago, I discovered Sociocracy, and it really seems that Sociocracy provides some answers to questions that we are having. Maybe sometimes we don't even really know that we have those questions. And since then, I'm applying it in different ways, and I want to share this because I really hope that, first of all, that you understand what Sociocracy is about and how this can maximize also your benefit from Agile. And I want you to know about some strategies that you can apply in your organizations, in your field, and it can be really very minor, or maybe it's a really big thing. So my hope is that you can really make use of that. Well, now the thing that's probably the hardest with all of that, that's the term. So Sociocracy, actually, we have the same thing in other worlds, like extreme programming, and a lot of, or even Scrum, people discuss that the term is maybe not a good one. And the same is true for sociocracy, because for some people this might sound like socialism, but it really isn't related in any way to that. So the origins, if you look at the term itself, it's actually Greek, and it means socios is the companion, and then kratein means to govern. There's also a different term that's used for sociocracies at times, which is dynamic governance. So sometimes you might read about dynamic governance, and so this is actually the same thing. But it basically means, and we come to the details what it means, so this is what the talk is about. But basically it means that people who have a relationship with each other, they are the ones governing or ruling. So that's kind of the basis of the option for it. Now, speaking of the struggles that I mentioned earlier that I'm seeing in organizations and in teams, and sometimes also across teams, is on the one hand the lack of full buy-in for decisions. So it might be that the reason is that decisions, how they are made, is not fully transparent, or that people who have been deciding that they are detached from the actual problem, and that's why it's then sometimes not really easy to understand why it has been decided the way it has been decided. The other thing, and this is also very critical, that it seems hierarchies, and I'm speaking of hierarchies because I most often work for larger organizations, and there is, I would say, a hierarchy. Sometimes there is not really a hierarchy in the org chart, but then there is an intransparent hierarchy that there are leaders, but you don't have them on the chart, but everyone knows who is a leader in some way. However, hierarchies often seem to prevent self-organization. So it seems then that for an organization, Agile or the support for Agile is often just a kind of a lip service, and then the existing structure and also the existing processes, that they are often then in the way of applying Agile fully and really benefiting from it. So these are the things that I observed and made me curious from what I heard what Sociocracy provides. So that's about the context. Now I want to move to the decision making. So the first topic, one of the things that Sociocracy is offering. But first of all, like the motivation. Why is decision making so important? Well, so that if the buy-in is lacking, then even if you have made a decision very quickly, the implementation of it will be very slow because of missing buy-in. And I see this really on different levels. So inside a team, but also cross-team if we are talking about large-scale Agile, and also across hierarchies or on different hierarchy levels. And here when I talk to people is that some people say like, well, whatever I'm saying, I'm not getting heard anyway, so that they feel that their voices never get heard, whatever they are mentioning. And the other thing is that some people say, well, there are always the same people who are talking and then at the end kind of influence or make the decision. And it's just always the same people kind of leading towards a decision, and it's not really balanced hearing the different opinions of the people or the different perspectives and bringing those together. So this makes it kind of transparent, so you know that the people who are not speaking up, that they will not get heard, and therefore they will not influence the decision, but the talkatives will. But sometimes it's also that the decisions are made at other places, and you don't really know why and how. So that's one of the things. The other thing that I want to elaborate first is just in general, making decisions. So very often we have kind of one way of making decisions. And I will get back to this like in 2 seconds or so. The other thing is that some things are ready for a decision. So we actually need to look at the situation at hand and explore information or do some analysis or research in order to have everything together that we need for making a well-informed decision. So sometimes that is actually the problem, and it's not so much the decision-making, but the thing we want to decide upon isn't really ready. So activities, as people know it in the Agile field, from which we do in Retrospectives, so some group activities often help to gather more knowledge about that. Now, I mentioned already that very often we use the same deciding or decision approach for a lot of things, and this might not be a good idea. And if you think about different approaches for making decisions, so for example, one that comes to my mind is in a retrospective or in kind of workshop formats, the approach that's used the most often is actually, it's applied as dot voting very often. So it is a majority vote, which is on the one good thing because you hear all the voices, everyone has an influence on the decision, and you know kind of, okay, these are that many people are in favor and these are against or whatever. Even if you do it anonymously, you will know how many are in favor or against the decision. However, the big problem with majority vote is that the votes of the minority is completely lost. It's just like it hasn't been provided.